welcome to RetroLogic. I'm Dan Caparello, and joining me today is the hosts with the mosts. We have John Cummins.
Howdy.
And Sam Wagers coming to us from a hotel room.
Hello.
Hopefully it goes well tonight. We're just gonna do our best, you know? Do our best to forget the rest, as they say on Paw Patrol. So, RetroLogic isn't just a podcast, it's also a retro game store. You can go to retrologic.games and check out my inventory. I've got cleaned and tested and authentic retro games for sale of all kinds of systems and stuff. So go do that. I've also got a giveaway happening on Twitter right now. At RetroLogic Games is the Twitter handle, where you can win a bunch of vintage magazines and a RetroLogic t-shirt and a complete in box copy of GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64. So if all that sounds good to you, go over to Twitter, retweet my thingy, and just get on that, and you could win an awesome thing. Because I hit 500 followers, guys. Yay!
Yay!
Woo! Woo! That's 500 people who have to put up with my shenanigans on a daily basis, which I'm sorry and you're welcome. So all that out of the way, guys, what did you buy? What did you play? How was your week? Sam, you have quite the list here, so we'll start with you.
Yeah, so I'm on the road for work this week and took advantage of the opportunity to go to a game store that is 400 miles from my house. So, that was today's haul. And actually, just on the weekend, I went to another local store in Columbus called Forever Games. So I picked up my Genesis controller there since
Nice.
I got a Mega SG and have no controller for it. That's pretty much what I walked up to them like, hey, you have any Genesis controllers? And they're like, well, do you need the 3-button or the 6-button one? And I'm like, I don't actually know. Do I actually need the 6-button one? I always thought the 6-button one was more standard, but I guess you don't really need it unless you're playing fighting games. So
yeah, almost all games are going to be just fine with the 3-button.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, the 6-button one is the one I usually picture.
Yeah.
It was the
But
later.
yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with the 6-button. Like, you could totally play your 3-button games, your 6-button too, but it's not. Yeah, I like the 3-button because that's what I remember being a kid. And I don't play fighting games. So yeah, it really is just preference.
But yeah, so that's Forever Games in Columbus, and the staff there was very friendly, I will say. They had a good selection. I wound up getting a big stack of games to figure out how much they cost. That's still something that bothers me.
Oh, they
when
weren't
there aren't
priced?
just stickers.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, it's just you got to ask, and I hate asking. Well, it's lazy, and it's also allows them to reprice stuff without having to, price themselves into losing money they could be making on something that increased in value. Because a lot of times with the stickers, they put the sticker on when they buy the game based on what it's worth when they buy it. So with as fast as stuff goes up in value now, I can see why they'd be hesitant to do that if it doesn't affect anything else. But I don't like that. I will say the interesting thing I found is that they tend to round their prices off. So depending on what you're getting, you may get a better or worse deal there because they pretty much just block off to like 20, 30, 50.
Oh, that's interesting.
But I was looking at Genesis stuff, and most of theirs was complete in box.
Nice.
So that is nice, but it's also, they were charging complete in box prices for it.
Right.
So I actually would rather be able to select from a lot of loose cartridges because I'd rather just save the money, honestly. All my Super Nintendo stuff is loose, so I assume I'll treat Genesis the same way.
And Genesis is a little different because it's a lot easier to find games complete in box since they had that plastic clamshell at launch.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm like you where I'm looking for bargains, so I just went cartridge only and I don't care.
Yeah, what they were telling me is that it's a lot more common for Genesis games to be box and no manual, because a lot of people keep the box but lose the manual. I don't know if they just hunt down manuals to complete their sets, but they're like, yeah, most of it. So, and some of the ones I asked about, they're like, let us check if we have any loose cartridges in the back. So, I mean, they were, like I said, they were friendly, they were helpful.
That's great.
But in the end, I walked home just with a complete in-box copy of Aerobiz and a loose copy of Battletech, which I recently learned is actually a game on the Super Nintendo called mechwarrior 3050. They're literally the only difference is they changed the name.
Nice. So weird. I've seen that game.
But yeah, it's still pretty cool. And so those were relatively low price bargains that I got. I almost walked home with a copy of General Chaos just for you, Dan, but they wanted $50 for it, and I was like, I can get a better deal.
50 complete in box?
Yeah, complete.
Okay. That's not insane. But you can get the cartridge.
Yeah, I mean, it's
20.
about the going rate, but yeah, I'd rather just get the cartridge for
it's
20.
Pretty common to find the cartridge for about that much. I have an extra one, so we can talk later about that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the place I went today is in Virginia, and that's Estarland, which I think is kind of a lousy name, but other than that, highly recommend the store. Great selection. Competitive prices, and they do ship online too. They do a lot of online selling. And they do not have stickers on a lot of their stuff either, but because they have an online store, you can just go to their website in the store. You know, they have their own Wi-Fi, they have a Wi-Fi password for you, and you can check. And they even have 2 different kiosks that are open to the website for you to check their whole catalog.
That's really smart.
So
actually,
you can ask about stuff. So I think that's a really nice way to do that.
That's a good halfway point between pricing everything and
it's like
because you can actually go like
checking a library catalog.
They can change it so easily digitally, and then like the whole catalog is updated, as opposed to like, oh, now we got to go put new stickers on everything. Like, I get that's difficult.
Yeah.
And there's no nasty stickers you have to peel off that leave residue.
Right.
At the same time, you can hold them to a price that they set at that current time. Like whenever they set their price online.
That's also true. Yeah.
Like,
but yeah,
I would be just as disgusted if you brought the game up there and they're like, oh, well, this game actually costs $20 more now than what they show on.
No, they better not do that.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
But I mean, as far as selection, they had basically everything. The one thing I was surprised I didn't see in the show floor, I think they had some stuff on their website. I didn't see any Game Gear stuff. That is the thing. When I got the Mega SG, I got the adapters. So there's an adapter for the Game Gear for the Master System. They didn't have any Game Gear stuff, but I mean, they had 3DO stuff. Atari 7800. I don't think I've ever even seen one of those.
It's a monster.
So, I mean, they covered everything.
Nice controller, though.
And they even had a lot of imports too. They had a lot of Super Famicom games.
Oh, sweet.
Out there, a lot of like duplicate copies of games that I don't think anybody's like searching for desperately. But I mean, just a lot of games, and they had arcade cabinets out on the show floor that you could play. So that was really cool. I do highly recommend it if you're ever in East Virginia.
I've bought a few things online from them.
I didn't say the things I picked up. I left with quite a haul. It was NHL 94. That's the only boxed game I got. And for the Genesis, Power Rangers, seaquest DSV, and eswat, and also tinstar for the Super Nintendo. And I will mention, they actually have a lot of just gaming tchotchkes and swag and stuff. And it was actually a lot of really cool stuff, I will say. So I got a keychain of a 8-bit style Rush from Mega Man.
Nice.
And I also got this very nice camel water bottle with a laser engraved Starman from Earthbound on it.
That's
probably my new favorite thing ever.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Well, and because not only does it have an Earthbound character on it, it's also the nicest water bottle I own.
It's double awesome. Well, you know what they say, Sam. Every time somebody buys a copy of NHL 94, Chris HL gets his wings. So, yep.
He cries a little tear.
Yep. A happy tear. All right, what'd you play this week, Sam?
As far as playing, I've been playing the same stuff I have been playing. I have been playing more Dokapon Kingdom. That is such a great, crazy game. It sometimes gets pretty tedious, but like I don't even mind. It's great. It's a great game to stream too, because you can kind of just chat with people while the AI is taking their turns. And I've been playing more Neo: The World Ends With You. I believe I'm 2/3 of the way through it. The game does seem to be structured the same way as the DS game, so there should be 3 weeks. I just ended week 2. And I've been playing Mario Golf, and I have also been what was the other one? Oh, Pokemon Unite. I'm almost to master rank, but I just can't edge it out. I'm an Ultra 5.
He's trying to be the very best.
Like no one ever was.
That's right.
To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause.
Yeah.
Yes.
To play Dota is your cause.
Yes.
So you also did some PiePacker, and we can save that for our news segment because we're going to chat a little bit about our experience.
Yes, that's right.
That coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really cool. Awesome. Good deal. All right, John, you had a smaller week. Maybe you're winding down a little bit on the insane number of purchases you've been making lately. Not judging, just making a comment on,
No, these 2 that I bought were probably close to the value of what I would normally spend on multiple games.
Okay, well, I didn't have to know that, but now with that I do.
Well, I mean, there's some pretty high-profile GameCube games that I've been missing for a little while. But I got Kirby's Air Ride and F-Zero GX, and I got a good deal on them. I think I paid almost $60 a piece, which is about $20 off of each one.
Yeah, that's great.
Not too bad. They are complete, I haven't received them yet. They should be here today or tomorrow or the day after, but it's pretty much all I picked up this week. I did get my collector's edition of what is it? Scott Pilgrim for the Switch from Limited Run this week.
Nice.
That's something that I ordered 4 months ago. Finally showed up.
Got a limited run.
Yes.
Did you get the full-on collector's edition with the diorama and stuff, or
No, I got the second tier, the one that comes in the Genesis clamshell.
Oh, that's cool.
But it also has an SNES box inside. And it comes with a bunch of other stuff that I can't even remember what all is in there. But this is one that I'll probably just hold on to for a little while because I already have it digitally. I might break it open eventually to look at all the stuff. But
do an unboxing.
Yes, possibly. Still haven't decided yet. Those collector's editions just go up in value so much. I'm kind of wanting to see after a certain period of time if they start going back down.
Mm-hmm.
It all started with the collector's edition they put out for Bloodstain, the NES style one. Was it Curse of the Moon?
Yeah.
I bought that collector's edition for $55, I think is what they had on it at the time. And it's now worth over $300. Just leaving it packaged. So and that was 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of seeing just if it plateaus off, if it dips off, I'll open it and enjoy the goodies. But if it doesn't, I'll just hold on to it and see what it does for a little while. It's kind of like an investment. It's like buying stock in something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they would go down unless they print more, but is there even
Well, yeah, I
that?
mean, I don't know. I just wasn't expecting a $55 game that had a month-long open pre-order to skyrocket up to 6 times the value.
Pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Ever since that happened, and that was another one that I owned digitally, so I had no real reason to open it. I've already got it or I can play it. So I just kind of left it. And then after seeing that one, I've got a handful of other ones that I'm holding on to that I haven't opened just to see what they do over time. But that's pretty much what I bought this week. Kind of.
Okay. Yeah. Right on.
What I played, I also tried out PiePacker by myself, not multiplayer, but just checked out some of the games, but talk about that later. And I've been playing just my usual stuff, Mario, golf, still hanging in the tournament. I'm still within the top 16 to make it to the playoffs at some point. And then I'm kind of slowed down on, I've made it to the last, I think the second to last portion of Monster Hunter Stories 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like kind of like a boss rush where you have to fight 3 different enemies in a row, and I've kind of hit a point where I have to grind a whole bunch, so I think I'm going to put that game down for a little bit. I've been itching.
It's like reaching the Elite Four in Pokemon.
Yes, it is just like that, except for no matter what, I must just be way too under-leveled for where I'm at, because I get to the second guy, and he just like one-shots my monsters.
Yeah.
So I pretty much just go real quick.
And you can't one-shot the Elite Four with Articuno, so, you know.
That's what surprised me about replaying Pokemon Red is just how big the gap is. Like, there's no good place to train before the Elite Four.
No, you have to...
The later games are a little more generous with that. But, I mean, you're fighting, like, level 30 Onyxes on, like, Victory Road, and then Lance has, like, level 60-something Dragonites.
Yeah, you have to go to the cave where you find Mewtwo and level up there a bunch.
That, or you just be smart, Sam, about your Pokemon choice.
Well, you can do that.
And use the same one.
I don't know if
Pokemon
I can come off more
everything.
condescending right now, but that's would be my comment.
that's how when Pokemon came out, my cousin he's like a year and a half younger than I am. And for whatever reason, he played the game with just Blastoise. His Blastoise.
That's actually like not 80. A hard way to beat the game.
No, it's not. But
Blastoise is pretty impenetrable at a high level. Yeah.
I was like, "What's your party?" And he like opens up his Game Boy and he's like, "Oh, I've got Blastoise." I was like,
"Wait, did he just miss the whole like here's how to catch a Pokemon tutorial?
Literally,
did he fall asleep during that or what?"
The first time my brother beat Pokemon, he had like a level 70-something Blastoise, and like he had a Sand Slash that was like level 30 because he trained it up just to beat Lieutenant Surge and then pretty much benched it.
Yeah, I don't know if he had other ones in a box, but he was only using Blastoise. I think he had a Dugtrio at one point that he caught and like put it away, but they're inside Diglett Cave, you can catch a Dugtrio like right there. But yeah, he's just like, no, just like Blastoise. He's working for me right now.
Okay. I mean, that's the good thing about Pokemon is you can kind of play that game however you want and bend it to your will. So that's
it's pretty broken. The first one is you can do a lot of things.
Yeah. How did we end up talking about Pokemon?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just how. Well, we were talking about Monster Hunter Stories, which is basically Pokemon.
Oh, that's right. That's just how the show goes.
Monster Hunter Mon.
Anything else you played this week, John?
I played Haven Park for the Switch also. I've been mostly playing newer stuff this week, trying to catch up with some of the indie stuff that's come out.
Right on.
That game's like just what I needed. Like it's just a relaxing walk around, pick stuff up, explore. So it was nice.
Sweet.
What all did you pick up and play?
Well, so me and a community member who shall remain nameless came up with a little trade. He was looking for a game that I had, and I'm in the market for an Xbox. So we did a trade, and I got an original Xbox console in like amazing condition. Like usually there's all kinds of dust in all those grooves on the top and the sides, but this thing was probably just kept in its box. It came in box with all the paperwork. No cardboard or foam or whatever it came in. But I was mostly just going to use the box to display anyway, so I'm not looking to like get complete in box value out of it or anything like that. 4 controllers, first party. One of them is blue and one of them is the Duke.
The Duke?
Yeah, do you remember the Duke?
The most ginormous controller, the most unergonomic.
Exactly. The launch controller, which man, like I have such a love for this dumb controller that just is so big and like the control sticks are the same size on the Duke as they are on the redesigned controller, but they just look so tiny on that thing. You know,
it's like holding a Switch Lite to play the.
Yeah,
I won't say I don't understand because I still love the N64 controller.
I mean, me too, but the Duke is a whole other level. Like if you have,
it's heavy too.
If your fingers are like 2 inches or like 2.5 inches or less, there's no way you can reach all these buttons.
Now, does the Duke have the breakaway, or was that only in the newer controllers?
No, they all had the breakaway.
That's what I thought.
That was a selling point for the Xbox. Like, never knock your console off the shelf again with the new fangled breakaway cable.
So for when your breakaway sticks, and then it doesn't break away.
Well, yeah. But I have such fond memories. One of my earliest memories with the Xbox was playing the demo unit at Best Buy and playing Mad Dash, and I was just like, "This is awesome! I want an Xbox." Mad Dash sold me, and nobody else. But you know, so a bunch of games too. We picked up The Hobbit, which is a halfway decent action platformer adventure game. Grabbed by the Ghoulies, guys. Grabbed by the Ghoulies, the oft forgotten rare adventure game. Adventure? It's an adventure game, or is it like a survival horror Luigi's Mansion? Kind of a hack and slash.
It could be called both, yeah.
But it's for kids, and it's rare, so I have to own it. Shenmue 2, which comes with the DVD that tells you the story of the first Shenmue, and it's like a feature-length film.
Of course.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Battle Nexus, which is the one that comes with the unlockable TMNT arcade game. So I'll have to play through that.
4-player.
Yeah.
Yes.
4-player.
I have that on GameCube.
Mm-hmm. Now, on GameCube, does it come with the Super Nintendo Turtles in Time, or is it the arcade game?
It was the arcade game. Turtles in Time's on the third TMNT game.
Okay, cool. I was curious about that. And then separately, from a different purchase, I picked up a copy of Panzer Dragoon Orta, guys. Which I never thought I would own this game because it's one of the most expensive Xbox games. I mean, it runs like $50-$60 complete in box, which is expensive. Yes, that's expensive for an Xbox game. But I found a copy at the local that came in a I think it was a movie gallery case, Hollywood Video case.
Hollywood Video.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not the Hollywood Video cover art. It's the original cover art in their rental case. And the disc.
Is it photocopied?
No, it was the original art in their own. Yeah, when they photocopy them. And actually later Hollywood Video printed their own artwork that looked really good. And on the back, instead of an instruction manual, they'd have like instructions for the game printed on the back. So it was actually pretty smart. But no, this was the original paper in their case, and the disc is in pretty good condition, but it's got their giant clear sticker on it that says rental copy all over it. So not the best condition, but for the price I got for it, I'll take it. It was basically disc only price.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So I had to grab it when I saw it. So man, the Xbox collection is growing and only getting more and more elaborate, and I'm here for it, man. Xbox games are cheap, and I want to get them. I'm here for it. I'm so excited, for sure. And that's pretty much it. That's all that came in this week. I can't wait to start streaming again and throw some Xbox games in the mix, because that's some stuff that I really want to get into once it gets cooler in my garage. So, with that out of the way, that is all the icebreaker questions that we have this week. Let's jump into some Prices Retro. Okay, so if this is your first time playing Prices Retro, let me tell you how we do this. I'm going to list off 4 or 5 games, and you are going to guess the price of all the games in total. And we are all going to go around the horn and say our list, and then when we're all done, we're going to see who was the closest to guessing the correct price on all the games. And this week we have Flightsy's back, baby. This dude has lists for days. We have a community member list. Yeah, exactly. And we've got our list, so we're just going to run through them. And I never get to go first in these, so I'm going to go first this time. And I do have a theme. And you may get this theme. It's not crazy, but it's my usual, like, pick a developer, pick a director, and use some of his weird games that you may not know with the same guy. Okay, so the first game we have is Star Gladiator for the PlayStation, complete in box. The next game is Project X Zone for the Nintendo 3DS, complete in box. The next game is Project Justice for the Sega Dreamcast, complete in box. And finally, we have Auto Modelista for the Nintendo GameCube, complete in box.
I've never even... What's that last game?
That is a Gran Turismo style racing game. And I had never heard of it either until tonight.
Nice.
Yeah, it's actually... it's a pretty interesting game. It's one of those like cel-shaded looking racing games, but it has like realistic physics.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Man, I remember wanting to get Project X Zone when it came out, but I didn't.
Yep.
It's the Capcom gem, dude. I'm surprised you didn't get it.
Apparently it's very good. I haven't played it either. Characters from all kinds of franchises, right?
Yeah, it had a demo too, so...
Give me those guesses. Give me those guesses, guys. What do we got?
I think I played the demo. I'm going to say 300.
Okay.
Okay. I was thinking 225.
All right. Actual retail value is $399, making Sam the winner of this round.
Yeah, you should know I'm never over, John.
Yeah, there's a couple PlayStation games in there that were... Or the PlayStation game is throwing me off, I guess.
So we've got Star Gladiator going for $49. Project X Zone going for $29. Project Justice for the Dreamcast going for $238. And Auto Modelista for the GameCube, $82 complete in box. Any guesses?
Not expecting that Dreamcast game, man.
Yeah, I was close on all of them, but I figured it's a Dreamcast game, and so it could probably be high, but I figured not more than like
it's a pretty
little over
safe,
100.
It's a pretty safe bet these days that if it's a Dreamcast game you've never heard of, it's $200 plus at this point. So any guesses on the theme? Okay, I'll just tell you. So these are all games that were either directed or supervised by one... okay, I'm going to try to get this name right. Here we go. Hideaki Itsuno. He is the director of Power Stone, which is a game that we'll be talking about later in the podcast, but also directed a number of high-profile Capcom fighting games, and this is just a list of some of the games that he was involved with that are very not well known. That Auto Modelista game shocked me at the price. Like, I was just going through Wikipedia at his list of developed games, and I was like, "Oh, what is this? Oh, it's an $80 super rare GameCube Gran Turismo competitor. Okay, that makes sense." So add that one to your list, John, of Capcom games for the GameCube you have to get now.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those.
Yeah, there's more Capcom on the GameCube. Every time I turn around, there's some new random Capcom game that I'm like, oh, that's a Capcom game on the GameCube that I didn't know. So, John, why don't you go next?
Alrighty. The first game on my list, Top Gear 2 for the SNES Complete. The second game is Outrun for the Sega Genesis Complete. The third game is Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast for the Xbox Complete. And the fourth game is Cruisin' Exotica for the N64 Complete.
Complete. Y'all with your completes. Cruisin' Exotica for the game 64 Complete. Okay. So 140, 180. I'm gonna go straight $200 for this one.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna guess 300 again.
Hey, it's worked out for you so far.
So the total for my lot is $445.
Get out of here with that crap. I should have had Sam go first. Dang it.
So yeah.
How?
Top Gear 2 for the SNES Complete is $71.
That's like exactly what I get. Okay, go ahead.
Outrun for the Sega Genesis Complete is $80. Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast for the Xbox Complete is $197.
No, it's freaking not. What's this game called?
Hey,
Outrun.
It's just a reboot of Outrun that they did on Xbox.
Why? How in the name of?
I don't know.
I
don't know if it comes with like a racing wheel or something.
It was also on PS2.
Yeah, which none of the other ones are near the price of Xbox.
What the frick? Well, thanks. Now I want something else I'll never have. Sorry, go ahead.
Cruise and Exotica for the N64 Complete, $97. That one's gone up.
Okay. Outrun is the one that threw me off, and I'm mad now for numerous reasons. Not specifically at you, but mostly because this is something awesome that I'm never gonna buy. Nope, there it is on eBay. The disc by itself, $100. What in the world?
I just laugh because we always talk about Xbox games being $5.
I know, man. And I thought, listen, I was impressed with myself that I owned a copy of Panzer Dragoon Orta. Now I'm mad that this exists. So,
well, it's a racing game.
I know what the
kind of randomly titled. I figured you guys would fall for this one.
It's totally because I've seen this game around. Like, it's not something that I've never seen before, but jeepers, man. What the heck? Did they make an Outrun 2007?
No,
they were planning on annualizing it, and obviously it didn't sell any copies because it's a $200.
Well, they might have just put the 2006 on there to differentiate it from the other Outrun stuff, but
I guess
they could have been planning that.
Man, between this and Auto Modelista, we're talking expensive racing games today on RetroLogic, guys. That is the theme, apparently. All right, so we've got a guest.
You got Sam. Is he a guest?
Oh, Sam. Sam.
I mean, I can be. I've been a guest.
Give me your
twice.
list. Give it to me.
I do not have any expensive racing games because I don't have any racing games.
Okay, fair enough.
My theme is very obvious because I have had Dokapon on my brain a lot. So my list is the 4 North American released Dokapon games.
Oh, good.
Their condition does vary, so pay attention to that. First up, Dokapon Kingdom for the Wii, loose.
Oh, brother.
Second, Dokapon Kingdom for the PlayStation 2, new. Third, Dokapon Monster Hunter for the Game Boy Advance, loose. And fourth, Dokapon Journey for the DS, complete. No relation to the Capcom Monster Hunter series.
Those last two, yeah. I did not know.
Dokapon Monster Hunter for the Game Boy Advance, loose, and Dokapon Journey for the DS, complete.
Okay, all right, so fine. We're gonna go $230 on these.
I am going to say $325.
Okay, all right.
The total is $513.78.
See, the Game Boy Advance game. I knew it. I should have done more on the Game Boy Advance game. I went low.
It's not the Game Boy Advance game.
It's the DS
Dokapon
game.
Monster Hunter for the GBA loose is $20.96.
Okay, that's about what I thought.
The dang DS game, isn't it?
Dokapon Journey for the DS complete is $204.37.
Good Lord.
Dokapon Kingdom for the Wii loose is $144.45. And Dokapon Kingdom for the PS2 new, which I bought for $60 like 4 weeks ago, is $144.
Well, dang,
you can still buy it. I just saw it today for $60 on eBay.
The price starting has it at $144.
That's crazy. Yeah, I keep thinking about it, pulling the trigger. It's still up there. Yeah, that threw me off because I literally could have bought one today for $60.
Still up there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's still there. You can still buy it new.
Got a case of them, so
yeah, you can buy one. There's one listing from Canada that's actually like.
That's where mine came from.
50
I don't know if somebody just found a giant box of these in Canada. I don't know what the story is there. There's a lot of new ones in circulation, and they're not crazy expensive.
That's very strange. And I'm tempted. I'm tempted to buy one for the store, but I'm also like, feels weird. And when things feel weird to me, I don't do them when it comes to business. So that's probably going to be a negatory. Would love a copy of the Wii for the collection, but you know how it is. Okay, so let me pull up Flightsy's list here. Bow. Ba-na-na-na-na-na. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So okay. All right. So this theme is cuz quote unquote cuz I don't think there are 6 Ghostbusters games, end quote. Dan Caparello, August 11th, 2021. That's the theme. Any guesses on what we're going to be guessing on for this list?
Or Ghostbusters games.
There's 7 games here.
I'm almost thinking it's other ghost-related games that aren't Ghostbusters.
Well, now here's my question. Now, I'm trying to get into the mind of Flightsy right now. Would he literally just give us another list of Ghostbusters games 2 weeks in a row? That seems insane, but also it's Flightsy we're talking about, and he may just pull that kind of stuff on us for his own amusement, which I don't blame him for. Or it could be other ghost-related games. But let's jump in here and see what we've got. So, game 1, Ghostbusters the video game for the Wii, complete in box.
This is what we just did last week.
This is what we did last week, dude. We're probably going to get it all wrong again. Ghostbusters the video game for the Xbox 360, complete in box. Ghostbusters the video game for the PS3, complete in box. Ghostbusters the video game for the PS2, complete in box. Ghostbusters the video game for the PSP, complete in box. Ghostbusters the video game for the PC, complete in box. And Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon for the 3DS.
Oh, jeez.
I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore, Flightsy. You got us. You got us 2 weeks in a row. Oh my goodness. Okay, so
hold on. You said Wii.
You want the consoles again? They're all complete in box. Wii, Xbox 360, PS3, PS2, PSP, PC, and Dark Moon for the 3DS. I'm not guessing first this time. I refuse.
I'm going to say $230.
All right. Sam, what do you got for me?
I'm just going to guess $300 again.
Oh my, jeez, man.
This worked out well today.
You're not wrong. Okay. I'm gonna just split the difference between you guys. I'm going to go $275. Somewhere in there is the correct answer. So, actual retail price is $76.56.
What the heck?
Do you want the breakdown of this? They're all basically $10.
Well, isn't the Wii one a little bit more than that?
The Wii one, nope, $10. No, the most expensive one besides Luigi's Mansion is actually the Xbox 360 version, which is $11.83. So we got again, guys. We got.
We did.
Okay, so the explanation, and even though we all know it, we're going to read it because this is how we roll. He says, when I was listening to episode 44 of RetroLogic, I heard the quote from the theme and thought to myself, not enough Ghostbusters games to fill the list. I could probably make a Price's Retro list entirely out of that one Ghostbusters game, and so I did. I like to point out that I didn't have to resort to using PAL consoles or remastered versions, and I got up to 6 games on the original list. I also researched to make sure that these were all the same game and not different games with the same title. That's why the DS game isn't on here. In case you were wondering, they sorted by popularity in price charting, and I threw in Luigi's Mansion because I couldn't help myself. Don't worry, I've got enough shenanigans for now. Thank you. Jeez. In fact, I think I'm going to take a break from Price's Retro lists. I've got more ideas, but they're not very well defined, so I hope time will help me refine them and come back soon. Thanks for guessing all my dumb lists and tolerating my weird presentation demands. It's been a wonderful ride, and I hope to see you in the season finale. Philip, we always love having your shenanigans on the show, so thank you for continually submitting lists. And we will see you in the finale, whenever that is. Probably October. That's our 1 year anniversary, so that's when I'm thinking we'll do something nasty for Price's Retro.
You got totally edged out, Dan. Sam actually won. Yeah, Sam won.
By guessing $300 on every lot.
On every one. Yes. Who knew it was that easy?
Oh my gosh. Ridiculous. So Dan was
at I found the winning strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I was at 517 and Sam was at 468. If I would have went just a little bit lower, I would have got Sam, but didn't quite have it there on that last one.
I
would have guessed $70.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. I would never
knew I was high, but I just wanted to stick to my guns on that.
Well, I was thinking they were going to be worth at least, $20 a game or $25, but no, $10.
Maybe they dropped.
Yeah, like you. I thought I remembered the Wii one being like 30 at some point.
I did too. Yeah,
must have dropped after the remaster or something like that. Maybe, baby. Oh man, good list, everyone. Good times. So Price's Retro is over, and if you want to submit a list, hit me up on Twitter at RetroLogic Games or join the Discord, which there's a link in my Twitter bio for that, and you can DM me and send me a list. And I'll tell you how to do it. It's very simple. So let's do some of our weekly topics, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll do our community stuff and our highlight for this week. This day in gaming history, I wanted to highlight a game that came out 16 years ago today, which is the Sonic Gems Collection for the GameCube and other various consoles. Sonic Gems Collection is one of those collections that you just never see, where it's not like you have the Sonic Mega Collection, which is like your mainline Sonic games plus some extras. Gems is Sonic CD, Sonic the Fighters, which is an arcade-only game, Sonic R for the Saturn, and then just tons of Game Gear games. Sonic 2, Triple Trouble, Spinball, Drift 2, Tails Sky Patrol, Tails Adventure. All these games deserve to be played and are awesome, and there's no other like affordable way to really play all these, especially the fighting game. And then unlockable, you've got your Vector Mans, your Bonanza Bros, and your Streets of Rage games. So this is a solid collection of Sonic stuff. If you're a Sonic fan or not, I highly recommend it. What's it going for these days? I mean, it's not
like
cheap.
$45.
Yeah, $45, but
box.
For what you're getting, I mean, it's an insane deal. It's a GameCube exclusive everywhere except for in the UK. So that makes it a little difficult. I mean, that's why it's so expensive for sure.
I'm not a Sonic fan, but I will say I appreciate when collections sort of highlight those things that are sort of off the typical, you can only re-release Sonic 2 and 3 so many times. Like to include some of the lesser known stuff is always really great.
I mean, this is the stuff Sega needs to do now. For real, re-release the fighting game. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that because it came up and I love it. I absolutely love it. And I need to get a copy. It shot up pretty recently and that makes me upset, but $45 for this collection is still pretty crazy good deal considering what you're getting. Couple of pieces of news we're going to jump on, including our chat about PiePacker. So we've got a Shining Force announcement, which I never thought is something that I would ever say. And then just like the monkey's paw scenario that it is a mobile game. We don't have a lot of information about it, but it's called Shining Force Heroes of Light and Darkness. It is free to play, and it's coming to mobile sometime, I think they said next year. So it's cool that Shining Force is being resurrected. I hope that they feel like we should get a Shining Force collection. I would take Shining Collection. I would take a new Shining Force game. This is kind of weird. I'll probably try it out, but I mean, not a huge fan of mobile, so I don't know. What do y'all think about this?
I usually tend to stay away from mobile.
Yeah, mobile. I don't want to always dismiss it, but it does tend to lead to, the pricing model is often the downfall of that stuff.
Yeah, they better have a really solid base package for me to even care. If I have to start spending money right away, then you're going to lose me immediately. So that's a thing. The other thing is that, and we're not quite sure about the timing on this, but at some point PiePacker went open beta, right? And
yep.
And so Sam and I got to play a little bit of choppy 2-player, but you guys had your own experiences with it earlier in the week. So why don't I let you guys kind of chat about what you played, what your impressions are, and what your hopes are. So John, why don't you jump in first, talk about what you played and your thoughts.
So I couldn't help myself, and I played the racing game. What's it called? Top Racer, which is basically Top Gear. Played a whole cup, which is the 4 races, and actually won. I was kind of surprised. But yeah, it reminds me just of Top Gear, basically.
Were you playing with a controller or keyboard?
No, I was playing with the controller with my SN30 Pro Plus. And I also played Glover a little bit, and it ran pretty smoothly on just my internet, not with playing multiplayer or anything.
I want to say if it's just you, it might just download the ROM while you're playing it. What do you think, Sam? Do you think that's because it has
I don't know.
A lot of load?
I don't know.
It still seems like it's streaming it though.
Really? Okay.
And then I popped in Earthworm Jim 2 for a little bit just to got a few different things, variety of things to see how they run. And I didn't have any issues with lag or anything. It just plays.
Yeah. So later on, when they add the paid stuff, they're going to be adding load your own ROM type deal. And you can invite people to your party, and we could essentially have Mario Party 2 tournament or whatever via PiePacker.
Yeah.
What we don't know is does everyone you invite need to have their own pro subscription, or can you invite whoever on your pro subscription to the game? Stuff like that, pricing, we're not really sure of.
I don't think it's spelled out. Pricing definitely is still subject to be determined. I got the impression that being a paid member allows you to bring your own ROM. Other people would not be able to play that game without you being a host. So,
right. But do the other
I believe
people
you can
also
I believe you can invite anybody who has an account or even a guest.
Okay.
Because if you send somebody the URL, so to explain how this works, you just go to their website and you can log in and you can access their 60 plus games that they have available. And to play multiplayer, all you do is you just share a URL link. You can do it through Discord like we did. And then they just click that link and they're in the same room as you. It's actually very simple to set up. Controllers are pretty easy to set up as well, from my experience. They do support. I haven't tried a wide variety. I tried my Switch Pro controller. I tried my NSO Bluetooth SNES controller, and that's it. I would be interested to see if I could plug in like my flight stick or something, just to see how far that goes. I'll have to check that out at some point.
One of the things, because I did mainly keyboard when we were playing, Sam, and one of the things that bothered me was that the instructions they give you, they tell you like what keys do what action in the game. Like W is jump, A is run, S is shoot, whatever. But they don't tell you which keys correspond to the buttons on a controller. Like we tried to play S-Cars, and it's in PlayStation mode. So like it was like press X to go forward to like do this. I didn't know what key on the keyboard corresponded to X, and I tried a bunch of them and it didn't work, and so I got frustrated and we tried a different game. But that's a feature that I think needs to be added, is better explanation of what exactly is happening with my keyboard when I'm using keyboard controls.
Yeah, and I think that's hard to do. The more systems you add, the more controllers you're trying to support, there's always going to be some issues. I remember in the early days trying to use a Switch Pro controller on Steam before they added native support for it, and it would drive me insane because it would give you the Xbox button. Names.
No!
So
it's all backwards.
So X was not the top button. X was the left button.
Yep.
So it just and especially I think at one point. Well, this was actually on Game Pass, but same problem. I was playing Final Fantasy IX, and there's that part at the beginning where you have to press the button that it prompts you to, and I couldn't do it because it was the wrong button because I was using a different controller.
Wow. So as far as PiePacker goes, it looks like it has a lot of promise. I would love to try it out with the community once we get some of our own ROMs in there, or even do some worms. What are some games you guys would want to play with the community?
Dokapon Kingdom, man.
Yeah.
That game needs multiplayer. I am at some point going to try to rope my brothers into a game with me over like Thanksgiving or something. I don't know when we'll have time, but
you gotta tell us about that when that happens.
I think they'd be up for it. It's really just a matter of, they all have multiple kids now, so it's tough.
I would love to get some Ribbit King stuff going. But I think we're pushing the limits of what we think PiePacker is actually going to support as far as emulators
for
goes.
now, what I would assume is safe to say they'll support. They are launching their own hardware, which will basically read ROMs, read only, read your ROMs off of cartridges. And it is meant to support Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Super Nintendo, and Genesis. Now, of the games they have available to everyone without having your own cartridge, your own ROM, they have included things like PlayStation games. So I don't know if Bring Your Own ROM will support PlayStation. I would assume they have a working PlayStation emulator. So that's definitely possible. I just don't know if that's something that they're still working on, because a lot of times with emulators, compatibility is limited when you're still working out the kinks. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it'll work great for one game and other games won't. So it remains to be seen. I would be hopeful for at least anything that they have supported systems on. But really, Bring Your Own ROM is what sells me on the service. And it comes down to how much that actually costs. But if they're doing a monthly subscription thing, it's one I would be fine for, scheduling a game night with the RetroLogic crew, upping my subscription for a month so that we can do that, and then letting it lapse until the next time we can schedule something.
What would be reasonable? I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, it's a pretty cool service, and if it runs well, like if it's not flawless, but if it's well enough where like if something gets disconnected, it comes right back, or like, lag isn't too bad, and if the kinks are worked out by the time you're having to pay for it, $10 a month would be about my max to pay for that.
Now, I will mention, if you were a Kickstarter backer at I think it was like $180 level or something, you actually got a lifetime subscription. Now that is past. You can't do that now. I don't know that they'll ever offer that. I think that was a Kickstarter only.
Yeah, and I don't even know that I would do that necessarily because, if like...
Now, I think you also got their hardware, too.
Oh, well, then
you were getting quite a bit of stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I might be mixed up with the different levels. Paid members do get a couple other perks, I believe. An infinite number of save slots. Premium digital masks. That's something they're sort of pushing. Something we didn't mention is that the basic interface shows your game, and also on the webpage is room for webcams of all your friends that are in the room with you, so you can see their faces as well. So they're really pushing the social aspect. Another thing they're kind of doing to play with that is you have these digital masks. Think like the photo filters, but they're all like themed off of game characters. I think a lot of them are based on like their indie games that they license. Yeah. So there's Arson Lupin or Arson Bomber is like their big thing. It's basically Bomberman, but it's got this like top hat monocle guy. So you can get like a top hat monocle that will cover your face in the webcam.
Why not?
Why not? I think that's pretty fun. I like that. I like that they're pushing the couch feature part of it.
A rewind feature is also planned only for paid members.
Okay. Well, when this thing goes paid, we're definitely going to try to get the RetroLogic crew in there doing some tournaments because retro tournaments would kick butt for us. That'd be awesome. For show. Okay. So games being released this week. We have just Diablo 2 Resurrection open beta. That's going to be PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X, and Windows. And that's launching on Friday. That's on Friday to Sunday this week, August 20th to the 22nd. So if you're a Diablo 2 fan, there you go.
I'll be checking it out.
But if you don't want to support Blizzard, there you go too. Don't do it. I guess they're not giving them any money, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be rough for them for a while. So we're going to take a quick break right now, and when we come back, we're going to talk some Power Stone. We're going to do some community content, of which we have a plethora of questions, and then we're going to say bye-bye. So stick around, and we'll see you guys in a minute. Back. We are going to talk a little bit about Power Stone. Why are we talking about Power Stone? I don't know, because it's a game we all like, and we didn't have any guests this week, so we're like, why not fill our time with a chat about a game that we all love? So Power Stone launched in the arcade in 1999, and we had Japanese Dreamcast in February of 99, and then very close to, it was a launch title in North America, $9,999 on the Dreamcast, which is pretty rad. And then we had the PlayStation Portable Collection, which is a 2006 joint, October of 2006. Which, is that a game that you have on your PSP yet there, John?
No, it's one I've been keeping an eye out on.
Is it expensive?
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah. One of my locals had a copy for, I think it was like $65.
Okay.
I didn't even know there was a PSP version.
Yeah.
It goes for like $45 on average. But every time I've seen it, it's always been more than that. Even on eBay right now, they've got a copy. It's like $55, I think is the lowest that's complete in box.
Yeah, the first one is only $60 or so on Dreamcast. But the second one is 120, 150 plus, somewhere in that area. It didn't sell as well, and it is way better for the only reason really is that it's 4-player, but it also has some different characters and different like adapted to the levels and stuff, but that's neither here nor there. When did you guys first play Power Stone, and what were your impressions of it, and how did you play it? Was it the arcade, or was it good old Dreamcast? And Sam, why don't you go first?
Yeah, so obviously I didn't have any Sega systems growing up, but I had a friend up until 4th grade when he moved away named Justin, and he had all the Sega systems. And I remember coming over to his house after he got a Dreamcast, and pretty much the only games he had was like Sonic and a demo disc. But the demo disc had Power Stone on it. And that was all I wanted to play. It was just like, yeah, we just played match after match. You could only pick from like 4 characters, but we just had a blast with it. I was like, dude, this is like it was a game that it's not, I would put it in the same category as Smash Bros. But unlike a lot of other games that like just try to imitate Smash Bros, they wind up to being like a worse version of Super Smash Brothers. Right. This was like a game that has the same feel as Super Smash Brothers in that it is like, you know, kind of a party fighter type thing. And you can get that whole argument about Smash isn't a fighting game, but I would say it's a fighting game, but it's a very unique type of fighting game. And I think Power Stone is the only thing I would put in that same category that isn't just purely derivative of Smash Bros.
It's kind of hard to label. Like, I would almost call it like, it's almost like a really, really good Mario Party mini game that they just like blew out of the water.
Well, and kind of to Sam's talk there, this game actually predates Smash Brothers, so Smash Brothers would have been like this game.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, the arcade versions of this game were before Smash Brothers.
Well, and so when did Smash Bros come out? Hold up.
January of 99.
Okay, January of 99. Well, then
the arcade versions of this game were like 98, I believe.
Well, Wikipedia says 99, but it doesn't give a specific date. So
I was thinking it was 98, but anyway, even the Dreamcast version came out in February of 99. So these games would have been developed pretty close to the same time frame.
Yeah. So it doesn't seem to me like anybody at Sega or anybody at Nintendo were thinking about like, or like there was any. The games are so different.
They're different, but it's really the only thing I can really compare it to is a fighting game where you're using other objects, you know, weapons and just items, and then at the same time, how the arena works, even like it's very similar.
To me, it goes into how much emphasis there is on the stage and items. Yeah, because in most fighting games, the stage is just a background. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have stuff in like Mortal Kombat where you have like the pit you can knock people into, but in these games, the stage is a crucial element.
The stage is as much a character as your character, honestly. And this genre of party, I don't know what else to call it, party game, where it's like an arena battle and you know, everybody's on the same screen, like one screen top down arena battle game was kind of a thing that was popping up around this time. You've got this, and then you've got Cannon Spike, which is the same kind of game, but it just had Capcom characters instead of Power Stone characters. And then even Custom Robo is a bit like this in this vein. So it wasn't a genre that it's not a genre that has a name. It's just like a top-down party fighter, whatever, arena fighter. Arena fighter, I guess, is what you would call it, but it's not even really a great way to describe it.
Well, I think this was like Capcom's first like venture into like 3D polygonal fighting games.
Maybe, I don't really know. I don't know enough about Capcom.
I was trying to think about it because I know for sure Street Fighter didn't do this. You know, it stayed 2D hand drawn for like a long time.
They had some other series. I can't think of the name right now. I get a lot of their like spin-offs of Street Fighter mixed up.
Yeah, we're the wrong crowd. We're the wrong crowd to try to like decipher that.
I wanted. Was that Rival Schools?
Rival Schools was on PS1.
I don't know. There was.
Yeah, could have been.
But that
there were a couple 3D.
They did have a lot of
Capcom fighters,
right? Yeah,
and they just never took off the way their 2D fighters did.
Speaking of Capcom fighters, most of them were directed or supervised by my Price is Retro theme of Hideaki Itsuno. This guy he's got a legendary pedigree at Capcom. We're talking Rival Schools, like we just talked about, all the Dragon's Dogma games, and Devil May Cry 2 up through the modern 5. So he's no slouch, and he knows how to make a great game, obviously. But he's also responsible for numerous Capcom Fighting Evolution, a bunch of the like SNK versus Capcom games. Like he's a legend, and you know there's a reason why Capcom games there's a reason why the game feels like it does. Like it's kind of a cross between a fighting game and something like Devil May Cry, where it's much more of like a third person perspective, fighty tactile like action game. Yeah, it's really just a cross between fighting and an action game is what Power Stone is. It's unique for sure. And it borrows from a lot of what Capcom does really, really well. John, what was your first experience with Power Stone and what were your impressions?
I didn't have the Dreamcast a whole lot later, but I did have a buddy that had one, and he did have Power Stone. It was basically my first, experience with Power Stone and Grandia 2, and he had a lot of stuff for Dreamcast that was pretty neat at the time. Just staying up late, playing matches. And I think we had 3 controllers, so I can't remember. Can you play 3? Is it just 2 players? Or?
Well, so the first one is only 2 player.
That's what I was. So maybe we had the second game also. Probably, I can't remember.
Yeah. If it was much later, then you probably would have been playing the second one, because by that time everybody had moved on, basically from the 2-player version to the 4-player version.
I just remember playing Gunrock was always my go-to guy.
Yeah,
same.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Well, I did own a Dreamcast. My brother and I owned a Dreamcast, but I didn't own Power Stone until later. But it was a game that a friend had, and that's probably why I ended up picking it up, was because we would go over to his house and there'd be a bunch of us, and we'd swap the controller around because it was only 2-player, and we'd be like, man, this would be so awesome if it was 4-player. And then the second one came out and we're like, okay, boom, bingo. And
done.
When I bought it, the thing that I liked, I really enjoyed doing the single player campaign, because they actually had like a pretty cool story, and there's actually a little bit of an anime that corresponds to this game and a manga. So there is a bit of a story here. And I don't remember the character that I used to use, but I just remember just the absolute chaos that would ensue with this game, especially with the second one. But even with the first one, there's only 2 of you, so you're kind of like one-on-one. Like there's not a lot to distract you, but stuff is constantly happening in the stages and with the items. If I have one gripe with the game, it's that it is a little, once you kind of get an advantage or like a vantage point and have collected the Power Stones and done enough damage, it's kind of hard to bounce back.
It's pretty hard to come back once somebody actually transforms using the Power Stones.
The Power Stone's pretty OP. Which is, once you know that, then you understand their value. So you're like really trying to collect them, not only so that somebody else doesn't, but also like trying to knock it out of people and all that. And somebody actually getting all 3 Power Stones was such a rare occurrence in our battles that like at some point it was just like, Are we ever going to see the other transformations of these characters? Like, let me just do it. Come on, I want to see it. Like, no. So that game was just a recipe for a good time. I just remember that. Yeah. I don't have a whole lot else written down here other than, have you guys played it recently?
I have not.
Yeah. Sam, what about you? Played it recently at all?
There was a arcade copy at an arcade. There was an arcade cabinet at Arcade Legacy near Cincinnati a couple of years ago. So I don't know if that counts as recently, but I remember playing it there briefly. It was as good as I remembered.
Now, can you decipher if there was any discernible difference between the Power Stone arcade version and the console version? I don't think there is.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I had played the Dreamcast version recently when I played it then.
Right. I want to say there's not, and I think I read that, but
maybe graphical fidelity at the time.
John, you sent me my current Dreamcast, and so a buddy of mine during the pandemic, he would come over and we'd do like some 2-player gaming just because we were going insane, trying to social distance, but I mean, we're in my garage, so what are you going to do? Neither of us got COVID from it. And we threw Power Stone on, and it's so when you going back to that game now, it is a little weird when you first jump in because it's pretty dated, like just controller wise and like
how it feels.
Yeah, it feels like an old arcade game is basically what, and it
can feel kind of choppy control wise,
right? And like it's hard to kind of know where you're aiming at times, and like you kind of have to do a bunch of test shots to get a good shot off. And not being dual stick, like this game would have benefited quite a bit from dual sticks, just being able to aim and run in the same direction.
It's a fixed camera, man.
No, I mean run and shoot at the same.
Okay.
Run in a different direction than you're shooting. Smash TV style.
Like twin stick.
Yeah, exactly. Or have some kind of lock-on feature or something like that, because aiming around in that game is a little wonky.
Oh yeah, it is definitely tough.
So now there's not a lot of projectiles, to be fair. You're mostly doing hand-to-hand combat or like long swords or whatever. I
mean, just picking up like items, and you can throw boxes.
Yeah, and like Molotov cocktails or whatever. And especially and so that was weird, but that being said, like once we kind of got into the groove of how to play, I mean, it comes right back. It's still a top-notch party game in 2020, in 2021. And, like it once you get over that little bit of a like hump where you're like, this is not a modern game and I have to get used to the single stick and what do the buttons do. And once you get over that hump, like, you know how to play, and now everybody understands the objective. Like now, you're both like, no, I'm going to get those Power Stones. Like you probably, when you first start to play, you get Power Stones all the time because nobody knows what's going on. But, we got to a point where like we just stopped being able to power up with the Power Stones because of that. Like we know what they do. So I would say that it's a worthwhile game to add to your collection for sure. And they desperately need to bring that collection back somehow. Like we need Power Stone collection on the Switch like yesterday.
We just need Power Stone Reloaded. Like they just need to remaster the game. And
I would take a Power Stone 3 because there's a lot that needs to be fixed.
There was that alleged Capcom leak that claimed Power Stone 3 was planned.
When was that?
A while back. It was a while back. A leak that claimed like this is Capcom's releases for the next 3 years. It's probably, to the extent there's any truth to it. Well, there was some credibility to it because like we knew Capcom had been hacked. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like even if there was some document to this thing, like that doesn't mean they're actually even going to make it. It's probably so far off.
Yeah, like maybe it was
never materialized.
Maybe it was
somebody mentioned it once,
right,
and it made its way onto something where somebody made a note. But
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's a shame. And you know what? The other thing would be like, just give me my Dreamcast Mini with Power Stone and
Power Stone 2
and Seaman and Power Stone 2. Yeah. And I'll
if you mini microphone. I still never got around to buying and playing it. If you guys have ever heard of a game called Last Fight, it's on PC. I've heard it compared to Power Stone.
Okay.
It is very much a Power Stone style game. It's obviously not Power Stone characters.
Mm-hmm.
It is apparently based on a French comic book, I think.
Interesting.
But yeah, it's on, I think it's PC only. I don't think it ever got released anywhere else. But I heard generally positive things about it and comparisons to Power Stone.
Cool.
It looks very similar.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what else to say about this game, but please, Capcom, for the love of God, just I will buy it. I will buy 2 copies. So let's jump into some of our community content we've got going on around the old RetroLogic campfire. Retro Rewind game for this month is a game called Claymates, which I have been playing, and hopefully you have too. It's on the Nintendo Switch NSO app for the Super Nintendo. It's also a cheap cartridge, and it's excellent. It's an excellent platformer, multiple characters you transform into, just a fun ride all the way through. We have scheduled our live community podcast. So if you are in the Discord community or you want to join the Discord community, you're welcome to do that and join us for our live community night where we get on a Zoom call and we talk all about Claymates and our experience with it and what we liked, what we didn't like, all that stuff. And that's going to happen Thursday, September 2nd at 9:30 p.m. CDT. And if you, again, jump on in. Start playing. You have plenty of time. It's not a long game. And we can talk about it. And that is all I have to say about that. So, community questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 community questions we're going to burn through tonight because I asked for it and you delivered. First up, we have Grim Leaper in our Discord asking, anyone have any thoughts, insight, information on Castlevania Grimoire of Souls? I tried the Contra game on iOS and I wasn't feeling it. So Grimoire of Souls was a game that was confirmed for mobile in 2018. Actually, it launched in Canada and then it was pulled from the App Store and then it vanished. And now they're saying, hey, we're releasing this exclusively on iOS and OS TV and Mac via Apple Arcade, and it will release quote unquote soon. Thoughts on this, anyone? Are you excited for it? Do you own an Apple product?
So we don't know why it was pulled. I mean, I don't know any Apple products.
No idea.
So,
I don't either. I will be playing this.
I have a MacBook, so maybe I'll get a free trial of Apple Arcade and try it out for lulz. But I'm not the one who should be playing it because I'm not the biggest Castlevania fan in the world. So I need to. I'm sure we'll get somebody in the community to jump on there and tell us about it. Maybe we'll have an interview or something. But yeah, I don't know anything else about it, Grim Leaper, other than what everybody else knows. But since it's going to be free with your Apple Arcade subscription, might as well give it a shot when it drops. Next we have, I am going to mess up your name, Ashwalked. It just looks funny. You've probably already talked about something like this, but one big question that comes to mind is this. As a kid, I grew up playing the Sega Genesis, and one of my favorite games was Streets of Rage, especially 2. The recent releases of Streets of Rage 4 was so good, and I couldn't be happier with the results. They gave me a modern take on the genre, but in a way that respected and called back to the originals in so many ways. So, what's a retro game or series you'd like to see return with a faithful sequel like Streets of Rage 4? I'm going to give y'all each one game because I could list off about 40 games that I want to see them to do this with. So what's top?
Is one of them Power Stone? Because we already talked about that. So
that would be one of them. That would be one of them, yes. But let's get.
You can't say Gotcha Force because it's not a series.
Well, I can't. Shut up. I could say Gotcha Force if I want to, but that's actually not even it. I feel like That game.
Now, I was going to say Mole Mania, and that's not a series; it's one game. I'm surprised they never brought it back on the DS, because you would have had one screen for above ground, one screen for below ground. It would have been perfect. Missed opportunity.
That is actually pretty perfect. Yeah.
I have Mole Mania, and it is awesome.
What about you, John? What game? What would you want a faithful sequel to?
I'd say Ogre Battle.
Yeah, they stopped.
It's been so long.
They stopped.
They did, yeah. 21 years ago. 22 years ago.
So would you want like classic Ogre Battle or like tactics style?
No, I want Ogre Battle and not Tactics Ogre, they've fumbled around and re-released a couple times. I think 2010 was the last re-release on PSP. But the actual Ogre Battle series, like the RPG combat style, it's 22 years since they've done anything with it. So it'd be nice if they brought it back, but I just don't see them doing it.
Yeah.
I will say, I actually don't want a Mother 4. That may be a hot take, but I think just leave the trilogy as is. Itoy has said he is not making a fourth game. He said he's fine with somebody else making a fourth game if they want to, but I don't think it would be the same without him.
I think that making that game you would never be able to satisfy the fan base.
No.
You never could. That's a fan base that is so ingrained. It's like Star Wars, right? Like there's no way you're going to make a Star Wars movie that's like as good as everybody wants it to be. So just stop. So what I would want, and everybody's going to hate me for this, but I'm answering the question. So shut up. I want a Donkey Kong 64 sequel. I want a 3D Donkey Kong game, for crying out loud, okay?
I knew it had to be that.
He got one shot. And it sold great. And now it's like, well, where's the rest of the 3D Donkey Kong games? Nowhere. They are nowhere. Mario is the only one who gets 3D platforming games now, and it's BS. Straight up. No, get me wrong. I love the 2D platformers. Donkey Kong platformers are some of the best games ever made. Give me my dang 3D Donkey Kong game, Nintendo. The end.
I was going to say, we just got a new Toe Jam and Earl game like last year.
I know, that's why. Well, that would be one, but the new Toe Jam and Earl is sick. It's awesome. So, I'm good there. Gotcha Force is the obvious choice, but like, is that something that I would want? Like, honestly, I don't know. That series, that game is what it is. And so making a new one wouldn't make it any better. Donkey Kong 64 2.
If I can get one more, since Mole Mania is not a real series,
sure.
Bring back Goemon.
Okay, right on.
That's it. Goemon.
Did Goemon is he still being made over in Japan? Or like...
Yeah,
not as far as I know.
I'm not as up to date on my Goemon.
Who is?
I just know there's a lot of them that aren't in the US.
Good deal. So our next question comes from Mecha Dragon 101. There's your theme song. What's a game that you grew up with that not a lot of other people know about or don't like? A game that you grew up with that not a lot of other people like, or know about, or grew up with. Man, there's so many. I mean, Gotcha Force, obviously. He and actually, I was asking about this question. He mentioned Gotcha Force, so that's the obvious one for me. What do you guys think? A game that you grew up with that not a lot of people. Well,
I would say Ribbit King for you as well. Is
that one, yeah. But I'm, like you, Sam. I'm just a fan of the weird anyway. So that's not
my answer would probably be Board Game Top Shop for the PlayStation.
There you go.
I rarely hear anyone else even mention that game by name. It's from a no-name developer. It's just a random bargain bin PS1 game that we picked up when we got a PS2. But I remember having a whole lot of fun with it.
I would also have said Claymates before it dropped on NSO, because I've been pushing that game hard ever since, because now everyone can actually play it. Because I love that.
You guys are forgetting about Plock.
Plock! Well, I didn't grow up with Plock.
I didn't own Plock. I rented it.
None of us grew. That would be Andros's answer from the Nintendo Pals. Great podcast, by the way. Go listen to the Nintendo Pals. Yeah, that would be the Andrew's answer over there. So I have a question for you guys, and this is something I dropped in the Discord as well. But I want to have a little bit of a chat about it here. I got a great answer from Steve, but let's chat about it. So, Did You Know Gaming had a video that came out recently where they were talking about, like, just did you know fun facts about PS2 games? And in the intro of the video, they said the PS2 is, quote unquote, possibly one of the greatest consoles to ever grace the market. Now, it's no secret that I'm pretty down on the PS2. That's just my opinion. But can you name something about the PS2 that would warrant that title besides its lifetime sales?
Its backwards compatibility for the time is probably
it's good.
Worth noting, because no one else was doing that at the time.
Not a bad.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say a lot of the poll, because this was the first not a Nintendo console that my family bought, and the poll was the DVD player. It was also the PS1. You know, it was all these PS1 games we couldn't play before, we can pick those up now.
But none of those things, like it being a DVD player, it playing the PS1, none of those things are like, this is a great gaming console because it's a DVD player. Like, that's not a thing.
Yeah, but it also just had a tremendous library. I mean, so much stuff came to the PS2. So much stuff got even just re-released on the PS2. I don't know if it was necessarily exclusives that made it. But there were just a lot. There were.
Well, I got a really good answer.
Of good PS2 games.
I got a good answer about the exclusives from community member Glass Knuckle, and I'll read what he said. He said, "I bought the PS2 almost exclusively for Armored Core 3 at the time, and I know you, Sam, you and him were going back and forth about Armored Core, which is awesome. I think for me, the biggest strength of the console was its variety of genres that all had good entries." I'm not a first-person shooter fan, so I appreciated having a lot of RPGs. The weirder titles NIS tended to publish, like Grimoire, unorthodox action games like Shadow of the Colossus, great horrors such as Silent Hill and Fatal Frame, Dynasty Warriors, Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank. So he lists off more exclusives for this console than I thought there were. And that kind of brought me to the realization that all I remember about the PS2 was my friends playing Grand Theft Auto 3. I
think especially RPGs. I mean, there aren't honestly a lot on the GameCube by comparison. Mm-hmm. You know, we got Tales of Symphonia, and after that,
we could probably name them all right here.
What?
Tales of Symphonia, Baten Kaitos, Paper Mario.
Skies of Arcadia. Yeah, and once you get to like Mega Man X Command Mission, you're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Does Pokemon XD count? Was that an RPG? Because that was kind of an adventure game. No, but yeah, if you're an RPG fan, like totally. And also there are games that I know about that are great. Shadow of the Colossus, Dark Cloud, Ape Escape. I'm a fan of Sly Cooper, so like there are good games, but like I look at that and I look at the GameCube, which is like, again, this is totally. I'm saying this and I'm thinking to myself, this is just your opinion, Dan. Shut up. But no, I'm saying it. The GameCube exclusives just absolutely smash anything that the PS2 or Xbox had going on in almost every way. Maybe not in RPGs, maybe. It did have some great RPGs, but like maybe that just wasn't my jam and I had a bad experience with the PS2. I cannot sit by while somebody calls it one of the greatest consoles of all time when like, no, I can't let that sit. That's just a me problem, I guess.
Well, yeah.
Seaman 2 was a PS2 exclusive. There you go.
That's not a real thing. Is that a real thing?
Yeah, Seaman 2.
You're screwing with me. That's not a thing. Wait, is this a thing? Hold on. Please tell me you're screwing with me. This is a thing. Japan only. Why was this a PS2 exclusive?
Dreamcast wasn't around anymore.
Sam.
Yeah, it already died off.
This is the problem. My knowledge base for the PS2 is severely lacking. Not that I would have known that Seaman 2 was a real thing. Oh my gosh.
Tell me, man, that
I'm done.
Backwards compatibility was a big deal just because it was the first home console to ever do it.
Sega Master System.
Well, I mean, that matters.
Nobody required an accessory.
I mean, I would mention Stretch Panic as well, but honestly, that game's pretty janky.
That's up my alley, though.
I like to compare it to like how the 3DS and the DS, like how big of an impact that is. Like that you can play both, both those games on a 3DS.
That's true, and
it
I guess
opens up all that library.
And I guess you could look at somebody looking from the outside in at the DS and saying like, why is the DS so great? All it had was like a Brain Age or Nintendogs. I don't want to.
Or even the Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance is a very good comparison because the Game Boy Advance has a huge library and a lot of it is ports and remakes. But people love the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
I think I like my DS analogy better.
Nintendo's been doing it with handhelds like forever, but they never really did it until the Wii with a home console.
Mm-hmm.
And PlayStation was just like, hey, PlayStation 2 is coming out. We know you like all these old games. Here's why you should leave your PlayStation 1 and buy what we have, because you could still play them.
Yeah. Which
would be a huge selling point.
Especially at launch. And I mean, Nintendo didn't do it with their home consoles out of necessity because you can't, like, there's a different cartridge. It's totally different, like, thing.
Well, yeah, that's what,
well, and like Sega did it.
It's not like GameCube.
Who bought
GameCube's
that?
like, you can't play your N64 games on here. Sorry.
Or you do the DS thing and have a separate cartridge slot for your GBA.
Yeah, gross.
Can you imagine if they released a N64 player for the GameCube that just attached onto the bottom like the Game Boy did?
That's pretty insane. I mean, they wouldn't have done that because the N64 didn't sell, as expected. I would have expected more a Super Nintendo cartridge slot on your N64 or like some sort of adapter you can plug in, which now they have third-party options for that. But that would have been more expected in my mind. But didn't happen.
I think they just thought the N64 was just going to blow everything away because of its 3D graphics.
No, but they were releasing Super Nintendo games for a couple of years past the launch of the 64.
Yeah, but it's kind of like whenever the NES did that. Like, very few people bought them after that.
That's true. All right, so Solo Something in the community says, I'm curious how do you... guys, I should read these before I read them. I am curious, how do you all balance your game time between retro games each of you pick up each month with the Switch games that come out? Well, the secret there is that we don't balance.
Not the greatest at it, no.
It's impossible. It's especially John and I, who are dads, like, it's impossible. Sam squeezes his game time in too between work and everything else going on.
I do tend to give new games priority for the most part. Like, I generally try not to juggle multiple new games. I won't buy another like new Switch game until I've finished the one I'm playing right now.
Right.
So, with some exceptions, like multiplayer, like Mario Golf, I didn't really like. It wasn't about finishing the story mode because even when I did that, I'm not finished with it. And stuff like Smash. I'm always playing Smash from time to time. But like single player games, like I don't think I'm going to buy another new Switch single player game until I finish Neo The World Ends With You.
WarioWare.
With retro games, it's like, but I'll probably wait to buy WarioWare until I'm done with. And WarioWare I could make an exception for because it's kind of more a multiplayer party game.
And it's just WarioWare, so buy it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll be buying it. I have them all.
Buy two.
Retro games, it's harder for me to do that because it's like, well, I just picked up, NHL 94 for the Genesis, it's been out for 20 years, so or 20
plus
years,
30
26 years. Yeah, so yeah, like it's there's no time. Like if I really was desperate to play it, I would have played it when it came out in 1994. I mean, I would have been 2 years old, so that would be weird. But
the hard part about it is you want to play something that just came out at the same time that other people are playing it, so that you can be in the conversation about it.
Yeah,
which makes it harder to like. I kind of missed the boat on Skyward Sword now. Almost everyone I know that's been playing it is done with it.
No, I'm about 10 hours in, so you could get ahead of me really easily.
To me, that's kind of how you separate out what games are really worth it. It's like if the game isn't fun to you at all, now that you're not part of that conversation, then maybe it wasn't a truly like must play game. Like I think a truly great game is great no matter when you come to it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the game is still going to be just fine. It's going to be great. But a lot of times, it's just fun playing it. It's kind of like co-oping a game that's not co-op. Like you're playing it and you can talk about it. And like I chose to play Monster Hunter Stories 2 over Skyward Sword because it came out first.
And Skyward Sword is basically a retro game anyway. Like,
it is.
You know what I mean? Like you could still play that game at any time, and you'll have fans of the game being like, "Yes, play it. It's awesome." Like that conversation is not going to stop anywhere. Whereas Monster Hunter Stories 2, that conversation is probably going to stop when everybody beats it.
Which I only know one other person that played it, so
I will say that my actual retro playing time is really limited, especially right now with the garage out of commission. And most of my game time happens portably. Anyway, like everything I play on Switch is almost exclusively portable. It's just the way my life is right now. I do get the occasional match of Gotcha Force in because I set up the GameCube at my editing desk and I'll pop it in for a couple rounds while I'm editing just to ease my mind up. But getting through the Retro Rewind games, if it's not on Switch, that's a challenge. So that's kind of where it is for me. I like desperately want to be playing more retro games all the time. And I try to make time for it, but it just, it just is hard with kids and life and work and everything and sleep. Sleep it gets the bottom of the barrel. Sleep is the last priority for me, at least. All right. So we've got a final question here from good old Chris HL94, who asks, question for the community. Favorite collection available now on Switch? Oh, that's a great question. I'm assuming he means retro collections.
Yeah, like compilation.
Yeah. Like, what do you guys think? What are some of your favorite collections that are dropped on the Switch?
Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3.
Is that a collection, or are those all purchased a la carte?
I purchased them on a cart, so they were all...
Oh, okay.
They were a collection.
Mm-hmm. I will throw in there the Turrican Flashback Collection. A bunch of games that
I've been wanting to get that.
They're pretty expensive now to pick them up a la carte on cartridges, on like original cartridges. So having them all in that collection, the collection is not super expensive either. So, that collection is totally worth it. An awesome series of run and guns that like nobody's played for some reason. Like if you like Contra, you're gonna love Turrican. That's basically what's up. So,
yeah. I would shout out the Capcom Beat 'em Up bundle. That is a underappreciated compilation of arcade titles.
Knights of the Round.
I would not, and especially because, like I said before, I really appreciate when collections add in some of the stuff because it's a great way to discover new games or games you missed out on. And like Battle Circuit from that is one of those. Like that is an amazing game. Very late arcade game when nobody was really making arcade beat 'em ups anymore, or as much, at least nobody in the US was going to arcades anyway. But
no,
very cool. Very just hilariously over the top bonkers game too. Check it out if you have the opportunity.
One more for me is the Neo Geo Pocket Color collection that they put out, that SNK put out.
I forgot about that. It's expensive though, isn't it? Yeah. Isn't it like $40?
Yeah, I believe so. But it's got a lot of good stuff on it.
I've been wanting to get that, but like, aren't most of the games on it fighting games? I feel like I only really want like one Neo Geo Pocket fighting game.
Well, there's some fighting games on there. There is some Metal Slug games on there. There's a hodgepodge of things. It's not all fighting games.
I'll take this opportunity to mention the Sega Genesis Classics collection on the Switch, which is 50 awesome Sega Genesis games, and it's like $20 retail, and then it's always on sale, so you have no excuse to not own that.
Yeah, probably the best value.
I mean, we're talking Comic Zone, Sonic 1 and 2, Alien Storm. We've got Beyond Oasis is on there, Bonanza Bros,
Phantasy Star.
Yeah, Phantasy Star 2, I think 2 and 3, or 3 and 4, I think
2, 3, and 4.
The best,
one.
The best.
Because one was the Master System.
It's got the best Sega Genesis game on it, which is Toe Jam and Earl. It's got the second best Sega Genesis game on it, which is Gunstar Heroes. So you can't go wrong, really. Dynamite Heady, all kinds of stuff, dude. Solid.
They didn't put the first Phantasy Star game on there because they already have the Ages version on the Switch.
Well, they have an Ages version of Sonic 2. I mean, just because it has an Ages version doesn't mean they're not going to throw it on the collection. But I think it's only Phantasy Star 2 and 3 on this collection. 3 and 4.
I was thinking that too. I don't know that 4 is on there. I think it's just 2 and 3.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, anyway, there's a bunch of them on there.
All the Konami collections are worth mentioning too. They're good.
Yeah, that's true too. It's good. It's a good value.
And the Mega Man ones. And if you
why would you play 9 of the same game over and over again, Sam?
It's not the same game. It's 9 of the best games. Well,
I just hope Marty's
not if we're talking about the X collection.
I threw that.
You can mention the.
I get sad. Okay, I get sad every time I look at the eShop, and there's a reason for it. But X Legacy Collection 2 sells more, according to the eShop charts, than X Legacy Collection 1, even though most of the games on 2 are actually pretty terrible.
Garbage.
It's because of everybody who bought the physical, because you had to download 2. Only one was on the card. So that counts as a digital sale. I'm like, there is no reason people should be buying 2 more than 1.
That is silly.
But that's why.
You can mention the Mega Man Battle Network collection when it comes out.
Right.
That's the one that I'll probably pick up.
I'm still looking for that. I will say, though, like, I was a little disappointed with Legacy Collection for X, because it had that, like, fight 2 bosses at the same time mode. Totally underwhelming. It could have been way better. And they just kind of threw it together, slapdash.
I don't think I could fight one boss, but I'll take your word for it.
All right, you guys, I'm going to call it here. This has been an incredibly fun episode. I like it when it's just us, just us shooting the poop, talking about games.
Power Stone Poop.
Power Stone Poop. Yeah, that's the name of the episode. Power Stone Poop. So let me just back up for a second and start that over again. Thanks for listening to the RetroLogic podcast. We are proudly part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts. If you like what you hear, check me out on Twitter and Instagram at RetroLogic Games. You're also welcome to jump into our friendly and 100% non-toxic Discord community. The link to that is in my Twitter bio and on the website. The website has everything, so just go to the website and click around. And the URL for that is retrologic.games. We've also got Retro Groove, which is a music history based podcast on our network, and that's cool. That's on the website. The game store is on the website. All the merch is on the website, and you can still pre-order. Pre-orders for the Literally Dinosaurs Inside Joke t-shirt are still open. go get it. Go check it out. We only have to sell 5 more, and then I can order them. So bing bong boop. Go get a shirt. John, anything else?
I might be buying another shirt.
Do it. Then we'll only need 4 more. Sam, how many shirts are you going to buy?
As many as I have torsos.
Okay. That's fair.
3.
That's fair. Weird. Now it got weird. All right, guys. We will see y'all next week. Thanks for listening, and peace out.
Bye now.
Gonna take a bite of this pizza real quick.
Yeah, I seen you had some pizza delivery happen while you were.
Just the wife being amazing. That's all that is.
Hey, you need to eat.
Find a girl that will deliver you pizza while you're on your retro game podcast. That's my advice to everyone out there.
I couldn't eat right now. It's 10 o'clock, man.
I mean, I'm gonna be up for another 2 hours.